We're at the Hicksville station, and it looks like something happened in here. Something definitely happened in here. Let's take a look. Looks like there was a flood in the station. Waiting room is closed today due to condensation on floors. There you go. Here's a look inside. Yep, there was a flood in here. Look at that. I just want to show you how well Hicksville is made. For those of you who don't want to hear. So, this is what happens after a severe storm. Of course, we have somebody just hanging out there. Look at that. Somebody just hanging out. Usually. Oh, this is to show you how well made the station is. And we have some delays on the trains, too. We have some delays on the trains as well, due to the weather. Yeah, some trains are late. The waiting room is closed, but yet it's open. All right.
Hi, I'm Nancy Alice, reminding you that B train smart. Step over the gap every
Show you how well made this station is. This whole station looks cheap when you compare it to Wantagh. I know I wasn't going to make another video, but you know, it has to be talked about, especially if it's related to the weather, and it is. And we have people just hanging out. People just hanging out over there.
Please face forward while riding.
Come to Hicksville. Just hanging out. Another person just hanging out. Now, if they were in Wantagh, the police would come and take them away, but it's not like that here.
Please do not sit on the steps or
the station doesn't look nearly as nice. It's just built cheap. I mean, it's cheap. Look at this stuff. I mean, instead of getting bricks, we get this stuff, which is like stucco. It's very cheap. And it's not nearly as bright as Wantagh because, again, you have these light bars here. They don't put out as much light as the lights in Wantagh. And this is the waiting room. I'm not going in it. Again, look at this. I mean, this just looks cheap here. I'm sorry. This just looks cheap. Compared to Wantagh, they get the brickwork, they get like drawings in the windows. We don't get drawings. We get like that. That's what we get. It's not a drawing. We don't get that. We get a sign that says Oak because the railroad thinks we're the forest and we don't count for anything. So all these rooms are named after trees, basically. Which were the sticks, according to them. You know, we don't get drawings. We don't get any of that. I mean, all this stuff is cheap, right? All this stuff is. Look at this. I mean, we don't get brickwork. They could have put brickwork here. They could have put brickwork, but no, they didn't. They didn't put brickwork because demographics. Because this area is not, you know, really white, homogenous finance professionals. So. Doesn't get the you know, good stuff. This is a violation of Title VI. The MTA thinks they can get away with it. They think they can get away with it, but I'm going to continue to hold them accountable.
6 minutes.
This station looks like crap. And they never fixed this. They're not going to fix that. That's going to stay that way. That's going to stay that way. So it's a half-assed job. It's not going to be done right. Only the Babylon branch gets the good stuff, but it makes no sense because, and I'm going to tell you why it makes no sense, because sooner or later there's going to be a hurricane, and sooner or later the area around Wantagh is going to get flooded, and all those pretty stations on the Babylon branch will be flooded. Sure, the stations are elevated, but the waiting rooms will be flooded, the parking lots will be flooded, the communities will be flooded. But the railroad will let us spend millions spent giving them fancy stuff and giving us cheap stuff, even though this is the area that people are going to need to be when there is the next big hurricane, because at least here we are safe from flooding. You know, this area will never have a seawater flooding. We're way too far inland. We're about 100 feet above sea level. You know, but no, we get cheap stuff, which makes no sense. So they're literally just like all the people, all the businesses clamoring to move to the downtowns on the South Shore. They're going to lose because when the floods come, it's all going to be gone. All right, so it's all going to be gone, and people are going to have to come here because people will have to live in this area whether they like it or not, because the floods will come to the South Shore, and all the money in the world isn't going to protect you from them. Anyway, yeah, that'll be it for this video. I don't want to make this too long, but I just want to show you what an epic failure Hicksville is, and just how crappy it looks, how inferior it looks, I think that all this shit should be replaced with brickwork. It should look the same as the Wantagh station. All right, it shouldn't be any less. In fact, it should be better because this station is used by a lot more people. In the future, this is the station people are going to have to use, because Wantagh, the whole town of Wantagh will be underwater and flood damaged. But according to finance professionals who would rather be with their own kind than have any common sense, and the MTA would rather give finance professionals preferential treatment than have any common sense, you're going to lose in the end, because Mother Nature always wins. And again, just showing you the pictures from Wantagh the other day, it's pretty easy to see that Wantagh was built better. And it looks a lot nicer. If you don't see it, I don't know what to tell you. Look at the railing there on the side. There's even a railing for people to hold on to. Hicksville doesn't have that. You know, the artwork is better, the nice drawings. It's solid. It's built solid. Whereas Hicksville is just built so flimsy with the cheapest looking stuff possible. You know, and it's all because of the demographics. It's because the MTA favors these demographics of these white finance professionals. It favors them because of politics. And it makes no sense. And you know something? I'm not jealous of these people. I actually wouldn't want to be these people. It's sad that they are so conceited, so snobby, so narrow-minded, because they only want to live with their own kind, that they don't want to move north. And they're going to be the ones to suffer when the floods come. And the floods will come. If the hurricane doesn't come this year, it's going to come next year. Sooner or later, there will be another hurricane, and Sandy was not the big one. You know, you saw the video yesterday. Sooner or later, there's going to be another hurricane, and these communities are going to be under siege by floods. And not all the money in the world and all the designer clothes in the world is not going to protect them from Mother Nature. I just wish they would be a little more open-minded, and I wish the MTA would be a little open-minded in giving everybody quality stuff. You know, Hicksville should not look the way it does right now. It should not look the way it does. And I think it's going to need to get redone in another 5 to 10 years. That's not going to last. It will need to get redone, and when it gets redone, it needs to get redone right. I don't want to make too much content about this. I really don't. You know, but when I was at Hicksville, I just had to show you with the sorry shape that the station looks like, the problems with the vagrancy. For the busiest station on Long Island, it's really a sad excuse, and something needs to be done about it. Hicksville needs to be redone, and it needs to be redone properly, and the homeless situation needs to be brought under control. You can't have people hanging out there. MTA PD should be patrolling. If it's not okay for somebody to be hanging out at Wantagh, why is it okay at Hicksville? It shouldn't be okay anywhere. Laws need to be enforced everywhere. That's going to conclude this video on Hicksville. Thank you for watching.